Hey, hello everyone, so I am back. So I just wanted to start off by saying I'm sorry if I look a mess. I'm filming this sort of 2 hours like after I woke up because there's like a thunderstorm coming through at the moment and I did not want to miss the chance to film during a thunderstorm with all the rain. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear any background noise. My mum has her TV on and I didn't really want to go and ask her to turn it down because it's still quite early, and I feel like that'd be a bit rude, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. I don't know if you can or not, hopefully you can't, but yeah. So I just wanted to say also, the last video did really well. It was kind of a bit of an impulsive decision to make that video. I'd always wanted to give those sort of like roleplay videos a go, but I always found it really awkward to film them. So I just decided that day, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it does, and it's done really well. So thank you guys. Obviously I'm gonna upload this video a little bit later because I'm filming it literally the day after filming that other one. So I'm gonna upload it on the Wednesday because I'm also trying to get a few pre-filmed videos done for when I go off to university for those first couple of weeks. I have no idea who my housemates are going to be and what their routines are going to be like, so I don't know obviously when the best filming times will be, so I want to sort of have a couple of weeks just to suss that out, where everyone's going, and also just to get settled in myself and just to take those couple of weeks to, you know, get out there, socialise, form a routine there myself, because it's literally turning my whole world upside down, so it's a pretty big deal. But I'll have a couple of pre-filmed videos for that time, and then I'll sort of suss out what the routine is and we'll go from there. My throat's gone dry. So I thought I would do a video sort of expanding on the last video because that got me a little bit excited, especially considering how well it done. So the style that video was sort of based on was the sort of like coquette, Lana Del Rey girly, Tumblr girl blog. There's so many different names for it, like you will see it referred to as like the coquette aesthetic, the like whole Tumblr girl thing. It's got a few different names, but I really love that style. I don't necessarily dress in it all that often. I will sometimes or a lot of the time, but not every day. I can be bothered to do that. But I have my own blog. I love the style, I love the community surrounding it. I've been a part of it since 2022, since I was 14. I'm now 18, so it's been 4 years. So I think I can confirm that if this is a phase, it's probably a bit of a major phase, really. But I love it. It's very personal to me. I love it as a style. I love like the pastels and all the like girly things. So I thought I would do maybe like a quick guide or my personal like essentials. And I thought we could start off maybe with just like books and music. So there are 3 main books that are referenced most by the community. There are a few others of course, but they are The Bell Jar, The Virgin Suicides and Girl Interrupted. These 2 have really good movie adaptations, which even if you're not really like interested in getting into this aesthetic, definitely watch them. The Virgin Suicides was done by Sofia Coppola, and it's so good. It's so true to the source material. Like the way I read this book was like the way the movie took on this book was exactly the way I had imagined it as I was reading it. The book it's such an interesting concept. It's about these girls, and one of their youngest, there's like 5 sisters, and the youngest takes her own life, and it sort of follows this chain of events from the outside perspective of these boys who are like watching the girls. They're not quite watching them, but they're like observing them, and it follows what they do from the outside, and you never quite actually find out why they all do what they do, which is I think the really interesting part. It conveys such a heavy and such a mysterious atmosphere, but also especially if you're a girl. I mean, I don't know about boys, they might be able to, I don't know, but if you're a girl, you will probably understand the sisters in one way or another. There will probably be something about them that you can relate to in one way or another. It's a really good book, and the film is really good as well. So the next one is, most people probably have heard of both of these even outside of the aesthetic, especially Girl Interrupted, because it's got a really good movie adaptation as well, with both Winona Ryder and Angelina Jolie in it, and they both did, so I love the Girl Interrupted movie. The book is really good as well. It's literally under 200 pages, but it's really good. The fact that the stories that it tells of all the different girls in this psych wards, they were all real people. It's the Susanna Kayson's real story. I just find that so interesting. And again, all of these books, all three of them, present like a certain mood really well, especially The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. The mood that this book portrays, the sort of misery, the anxiousness of it, is portrayed so well. So I'd recommend reading this one even if you're not like interested in like the aesthetic. I know it's got it does have a movie adaptation apparently, but I've heard it's not very good, so I don't know if anyone's actually watched that, if it is any good. Movie wise, there are some films that are referenced, especially on blogs and on social media pages related to this aesthetic, which is where you'll find most of it, especially on Tumblr, Pinterest. I think there's a lot on TikTok. I remember there being a lot on TikTok when I was still on there, but I'm not on there anymore. And there's quite a few Instagram accounts as well that sort of make content based off of this sort of fashion. But movies that will get referenced a lot are, as I said, The Virgin Suicides and Girl Interrupted. There's also Black Swan, which I love Black Swan. That's such a good film. I love it so much. Oh my god. There's Pearl, there's Jennifer's Body, there's... I'm trying to think of some others. I think those are the main ones that get referenced a lot. Yeah, I think those are really the main ones. Pearl is really good. I'm not a huge horror movie fan, but I did really enjoy that. They put it on Netflix. So music wise, I obviously have to talk about the one and only Lana Del Rey. This aesthetic, this community, it begins and it ends with Lana Del Rey. Her music is very much her, especially her visual aesthetics, and not just from her known albums as well. There's a lot of her unreleased music from when she was known as Lizzie Grant, which I think drives the community and its trends and its ways a lot more than her newer stuff, actually. Obviously, we've got the classic Born to Die, and I've got Lust for Life. Blue Banisters, I actually don't have a physical copy of Blue Banisters, but even outside of the aesthetic, that is an album definitely worth listening to. It's got some absolutely beautiful songwriting. Arcadia is such an incredible song. Because I think a lot of the trends of this like whole coquette aesthetic are driven from the 60s and the 80s. There is a lot, and some aesthetics of the 2010s as well. There was a, god, I can't remember what it was called, but it was huge on Tumblr. It was driven a lot by Ariana Grande in her first sort of album phase. I can't remember what that album was called. Yours Truly, that was it. Ariana Grande in the like Yours Truly era. There was this like girly core, I think that's what they called it, or girly Tumblr. There's a lot that derives from that sort of era as well. So there's like the 60s, a lot from the 60s, especially the hair and the makeup styles. You will see that echoed a lot in this aesthetic. Amy Winehouse is considered a bit of an icon for this. There's so many other music artists as well. I want to say Ethel Cain, but I think Ethel Cain is kind of more derivative of something separate. It really depends on where you fall. Marina and the Diamonds, if you've ever listened to them, to her even, she's so good. I love Teen Idol. Melanie Martinez, for some people, not for me personally, and if you know anything about Melanie Martinez, you can probably assess why. I used to be a huge fan of her, but I just feel so let down by some recent actions, shall we say. But her fans are absolute nutcases, so I'm not going to stay on that one for too long because I don't want to get attacked. But Melanie Martinez, if you want to fall that way, I'm not judging. I'm trying to think of some other people. There was quite a few. Marina and the Diamonds, Melanie, Lana Del Rey, maybe Ethel Cain. I personally think so. I don't know, I can't think of anyone else, but I know there's definitely more people. So yeah, there's definitely the Smiths. Maybe there are a lot of girls in the, not just girls either, there are boys involved in this as well, but it is mostly girls, who would consider like older bands like the Smiths sort of a thing. The Arctic Monkeys actually show up a lot, which is quite surprising, but that's music basically. So there are a few like brands that show up repetitively a lot. Hold on, I'm just gonna clean this off. These little Ted Baker bags, and I absolutely love this bag. This was one of, I think, the first things sort of this whole aesthetic that I owned. It's secondhand. My mum got it for me for Christmas, sort of just as I was getting into this stuff. I didn't have that much of sort of, it's very much more something like a little collection of things I've built over time, but this bag was one of the first things, and I love it so much. You can get much bigger ones as well, but these are very, you'll see them all over sort of Pinterest, especially as a fashion item. And they also make great ASMR. I mean, listen to that. Got the little bow. It's very cute. And then there's also brand-wise, there's a lot of designer brands that show up as well, though I don't think you necessarily have to own stuff by them. Obviously the Miss Dior perfume shows up a lot, especially on those aesthetic vision boards you get. I personally do not own anything other than this perfume, which I got for my birthday last year. And it's almost out, which I'm so sad about, because it is actually a really good perfume, not just the bottle looking aesthetic with the bow. It's actually, it smells really nice, and it's got a really good longevity as well, so it is a good perfume for more than just its bottle's aesthetic value. But there's also Chanel shows up weirdly a lot in this aesthetic. The only thing I own that's Chanel is a black nail polish and an empty perfume bottle that I got from an airport in 2022. That's that whole like Chance collection, which, to be fair, I love that perfume. If I get a chance to get it again, I probably will. Flower Nose makeup, I don't own anything by them. I really want to get some stuff, but I am trying to save my money at the moment, so that might have to wait until Christmas time. But Flower Nose makeup shows up a lot. The Dior, that blush by Dior shows up a lot as well, but I wouldn't say you necessarily have to own anything designer. It just shows up a lot in the community. But this perfume is considered one of the, not necessarily essentials, but it shows up a lot, and it is a really good perfume too. So if you are looking for a more upper end perfume that fits this one, then I'd go for the Miss Dior. And it actually has a really pretty not pretty, it's actually got quite a dark story historically behind it that I won't go into because it's quite sad, but if you know, you know. So another brand that shows up a lot is Victoria's Secret. Obviously they have a lot of pink, that stripe, if my camera would like to focus on it. This is my makeup bag. Inside it has all of my makeup bits, which I'm not going to go into really because they have nothing to do with this, but that like pink stripe is like kind of iconic in the community, especially those little pajamas. I don't own them personally because I kind of think they're ugly. I like the stripe on like the bags, and you'll see a lot of the like Victoria's Secret shopping bags for some reason. Shopping bags are like considered quite aesthetic within this whole thing. You'll see a lot of the Chanel ones and the Sephora bags as well. In fact, I think if Chanel does come up in the community, it's mostly shopping bags for some reason. It's not actually any of the bags or the clothes. But I have two little, I love this one for some reason. I don't know why. I like it more than I do the stripe, but it's got the little logo and it's pink. And I think it's so pretty. I don't even know why. But I tell you what, I love it. So they're quite iconic, and I think one of the most sort of popular things by Victoria's Secret, not just within the coquette aesthetic, but just wider fashion people, really, is their lotions and their body sprays. I have the Bare Vanilla. Yeah, this one's a shimmery one that I've almost used up. Sad face. But these are really good little pairs to have. The lotion's really good, especially like on the chest and the back. And the body spray's really good as well. One of the things I've noticed is the glitter in this actually does last. Like, I've put it on in the morning and I've gone to bed and looked at my arms and there's still glitter on my arms. So, as well as looking good in photos that I take for my blog, I will probably leave, I'll leave the links to my blogs. I have two. I have one that's mostly just for reposting things because they're both on Tumblr, because you can repost things. I have one where I just repost things or I say random crap, and I have one that's like dedicated to my original photos, so I'll link both of those in the description if you want to look at those. There's nothing really that interesting on either of them, but you know, self-plug, why not? So I think the last really brand important thing is Sanrio. Obviously another thing that's popular, especially at the moment, outside of the aesthetic and the community generally, is Sanrio. I love cinnamon roll, that's my personal favourite. I want to do a video with my like Sanrio collection because I have quite a few bags and like clothing items, so I think I might do that as a pre-filmed video, so you might see that. But what I have here is just a couple of items I've got, which is my little cinnamon roll mini bag. This is a little bit beaten up, as you can see, because for the last few months when I was in college, when I was doing my A-levels, I was using this bag, so it did get used to death in those few months. But it's a really cute bag, and I love the little clouds. So I have that, and I also have, I bought these literally only the other day, and I brought them up in the video yesterday, but I'm so obsessed with them. I have my little cinnamon roll earrings, and these are so sweet. They don't quite fit on the little like paper thing, but it's more cardboard actually, but they're so cute. They keep turning upside down. I love the little clouds, but I got those. So the Hello Kitty stuff can also be used. Other stuff that shows up in a lot of photos, obviously, as I brought these out, heart-shaped sunglasses. You can get these just for cheap on like Amazon or literally wherever, but referenced by Lana Del Rey iconically, especially in her Lizzie Grant era. If you've ever heard the song Diet Mountain Dew, there's a lyric that references them, but considered a staple in the community are heart-shaped sunglasses in all kinds of different colours. You see them a lot, especially in red, pink and white. I have white and black ones, but I don't have pink ones. I used to, but then my mum brought them to a Harry Styles concert in Wembley and they didn't come home from that, so I love that story. But bows, as I discussed in yesterday's video, are also quite iconic. The version of coquette that trended on TikTok last year, I didn't like it. That's one of my big, like, it didn't feel that much like the coquette aesthetic, because while bows are worn sometimes if you braid your hair, as I had in the last video, they aren't really like a huge part of it. And even pink as a colour, like, it will show up in some places, but like the more classic coquette aesthetic relies on like vintage Americana and like the 1960s and the 1950s. I love how the thunder and the rain seems to stop when I start filming this. Thanks for that. England. English weather. It's typical. But bows are considered good in the hair and on clothing. That's the main places you see them show up. They don't show up as frequently with the whole tumbler and like classic coquette, as it's called. They don't show up as frequently as it would on the TikTok version of the aesthetic, which if you like is fine. It's a valid version of it, it's just not a version of it I prefer. And I think like it's whatever interpretation of it you want to take. Like, even if you don't want to fully take on the aesthetic and just take some things you like from it, it's fine. We put way too much pressure on these like aesthetic labels to play into it. If you don't like something that's a part of the aesthetic, don't wear it. Pearl necklaces are a huge part of it. I don't wear them because I don't like how they look on me. I don't pick up everything that's considered like iconic because I don't like some of it. I pick up what I like and I leave what I don't. I love in that egg up there that you can see, I have loads of these little bows in all sorts of different colours, and I wear them sometimes. I used to have 2 red ones that I loved, but I wore them on a plane and I like lost one of them. So on a is it Jet 2? It was what airline did we take? I don't know. On one of their planes, there's one of my bows. So someone probably found that in the lost and found. Another thing that's quite iconic are these hairbrushes. These are, I'd recommend them even if you don't. There's a lot of this stuff that I'd recommend outside of the aesthetic, but these are really good quality hairbrushes as well, because the way the bristles are made, they're quite flexible. So they don't pull at your hair, they're able to untangle it without pulling at the hair and being painful. So it's actually allowed my hair to grow a lot thicker in the last few months, because every time I take a knot out of my hair, I'm not losing as much hair as I was before. So I think they're really good in terms of health hair, as well as they're called Tangle Angel brushes. Now, where I'd recommend getting these from is their original retail price can go anywhere from like £20 to about £12, which for a hairbrush is a lot of money. So I got mine from TK Maxx, or as it's called literally everywhere else, TJ Maxx. They sell these in there sometimes for about like five or £4. So if you go in there, check the hairbrush section, because sometimes they have them. Because I had a blue one originally, but I gave that to my mum because I didn't really like the colour of it, and I bought this white one. They do them in like pink and white and this like teal green colour, which was what I had originally. That's nice. Anyways, these are, not only do they look really pretty on like your vanity or desk or whatever, they also are really good practically. So clothes wise, I can't actually show you a lot of my clothes at the moment, because I have a lot of stuff packed up for university. I have one bag full of stuff that I knew I wasn't gonna wear in the last couple of weeks, and then I'm gonna pack the rest of the stuff this week. I've already decided that I'm just gonna go jeans and a jumper when I head down there, so a lot of my clothes are packed up at the moment, but I did just have a couple of sort of iconic tops here. These little like cami tops with the like lace underneath with the little bows are considered quite iconic of the aesthetic. So I have this top, and then I wore this one in the last video. I got that one secondhand from Vinted, but it's originally from Romwe, which personally I don't support Shein or Romwe as brands. They have bad ethics, but you know, a great place to get clothes for this aesthetic especially if you want the sort of cheaper Romwe and Shein stuff, is Vinted, because you're getting it secondhand for a price that's more reflective of the material's quality without supporting a brand that is unethical. So that's just a little tip. Vinted is a great place to find stuff. And then I have this, which I had on yesterday. I don't know what you would call this type of top. It's from Urban Outfitters. Worn a lot by Bella Swan in Twilight, apparently, from what I've heard. Never watched nor read Twilight, but apparently so. So, iconic sort of clothing brands that show up a lot are Brandy Melville, which I don't own anything by Brandy Melville, but they get brought up a lot. Urban Outfitters, a bit more on the pricier side for both of those brands, really, which is why I'd recommend Vinted. Get on Vinted or Depop or some kind of second-hand market is a really great place to find clothes for this aesthetic. And when trying to find clothes, just try and find things that you like. I think gingham is quite iconic. Actually, hold on, I completely forgot about this, but this kind of red gingham, like very like Americana 1950s, is very popular, and I absolutely love this top. I have worn this in many a photo, many a coquette outfit, but this is quite iconic. So gingham is definitely those sort of this sort of patterned skirts are very iconic as well. I have a pink one that's currently packed in a way that I would show you, but I can't because about 90% of my wardrobe is currently in here, in this bag, ready to go. So there is not much I can show you from my own wardrobe. Maybe when I get to uni, I'll be able to show you guys a few things, but that has been one of the hardest things about packing for university, is trying to narrow down which clothes, because I don't know how much wardrobe space I'm gonna have in the accommodation, but I don't think it's a lot, and it's like I just have to be practical. Hold on. Another more like iconic brand is, hold on, one of the bows has come undone. How annoying. Let's do this now. Okay. One of the more iconic brands is Twin Stitched. They make these adorable little bags. They make them in all sorts of styles. I've got more of that kind of vintage Americana with the cherries and the gingham and the little pearls. I love this bag. It's so cute. It's handmade. They're a small business and they are a little bit more on the pricier side, I will admit, but these are really good quality bags. They do them in bigger sizes as well, but they're really good quality because they are handmade. So Twin Stitched do really amazing stuff. I love that little bag so much. It's so pretty. I hang it off the end of my mirror. But iconic imagery as well along the lines of that Americana aesthetic, which is a huge part of it, vintage Americana. Like the American imagery is the like red heart-shaped lollipops, which are used. I actually specifically bought this to use in Tumblr photos, which I'm yet to take, alongside the little candy necklace that I showed in the last video. There is a Lana Del Rey song which is really good called Candy Necklaces, so I'm gonna take some photos with that for my my blog. Shoe wise, the only shoes I can really think of are Demonias. These are the Demonia camels. I am so obsessed with these boots. I wore them into town the other day with my friend. 7 different people complimented them. I was stopped by 7 different people in one day to tell me they liked my boot. One of them was an older woman at the bus stop who stopped me and my friend and said, like, "I'm so glad to see some fashion back. You girls look like you're from the 60s. Yes, that is exactly what I want to hear. Thank you. There was a really cool girl I spoke to at the bus stop who looked really cool, so these are definitely quite iconic. They're not too, the heel on these is only about 3 inches, but because it has this platform here, they are much easier to walk in than they look. These aren't actually real demonias either, these are fakes. The real demonias are very expensive, so I do have fakes, but I love them anyway. They're not too difficult to walk in either because of that platform, like I said. So that's really all the stuff that's coming to my mind immediately. There's probably things I've missed, but these are just my personal essentials and this is just my interpretation of this fashion. So I don't know what I'm going to call this, I don't know when I'm going to post it, but thank you guys so much for the support on the last video. Thank you for stopping by. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!